complication for my health, it was crucial for me to get the medical attention. I was exposed to uranium. I still have in my body half the allotted amount for a human to have, and the VA claims that it came from other water and food sources, even though it's all man-made and weapons grade. I'm now allergic to everything: paint, metal, drywall, electrical wires, batteries, cell phones, computers, nickel, all metals. So even down to the food grade, I'm having allergic reactions to everything I eat, because there's metal in everything you eat because it absorbs through the roots and put into the fruits and vegetable of the food. I'm allergic to all soaps, cleansers, detergents, all medication that's used for eczema. So all the medication they've been giving me for years doesn't work. In fact, I had a testing done, dermatology, back in probably like 2011, and I came positive for that, but no one told me. No one told me the severity. So this whole time, and this was through the Department of Veterans Affairs, the doctors didn't even tell me that how to prevent the allergic reaction. And I found out 8 years later that, oh, I have more sensitivities, more allergic reaction, allergies. So it's pretty painful. My skin breaks out and it really hurts. But when I come here and I go on dieta, it all goes away. I've had cancer. I've been cancer free now. Let's see, 8 years. I've used plants to cure other cancers. My mom was with terminal sarcoma. I found a tree that cured her sarcoma, terminal state of sarcoma, in 2 months. Very grateful for that. There's a lot of other things I've seen and witnessed, and even now I'm helping other people down this path of healing. So, it's important to take care of yourself, because no one else will, and you're responsible for your own happiness. And I've traded it all just to sit here with nothing but sticks and stones. And I've also had osteoporosis onset in my spine, so now I'm using another medicine called Renihia, and hopefully I can cure that. Because who's going to take care of me 20 years from now? I'm 38 years old, and I was injured at 21, left to die, and I am strong, I am healthy, but I have to stay away from the triggers that harm my body. And I think it's just a reflection for everyone else to see how poisonous these materials and things are that we're consuming. And it is a sacrifice. What we're doing is we're exchanging our happiness, joy, and health for materials. And these materials aren't, they don't provide longevity. But in the medicine, if you have a broken spirit, if you have disease, you should perhaps look into this way of curing, this way of life. It might help you. You don't have to completely change your life to living in the jungle like I am, but I've seen people come for 2 weeks, a month or two, depending, and they've been cured. I still keep in contact with them, and they're very happy that they came. Keep in mind the dieta is challenging. It takes a lot of discipline, but most of the people that come are at that point, and then they get to walk away happy, healthy. Everything that went with the VA and the military, and their negligence. I am looking for support because no one's helped me, and apparently that was against, you know, the law, or I have rights. And I'd like to have a life. You know, I signed a contract. I delivered, but I did not receive what I was entitled to. Being an injured Marine, pulled off the battlefield, medically evacuated with biological contamination. You can look online because of the Information Freedoms Act that we have in place in America. And you can look at the report to Congress, the data report to Congress. You can look at the financial budget report to Congress from the Department of Defense and actually see how much money, billions of dollars, goes into certain things, and hundreds of millions go into CB, chemical, biological warfare, development, training, creating, etc. In 2003, I received 3 out of the 6 vaccines for anthrax, biothrax. Biothrax was a antidote or a vaccine for the weapons-grade anthrax, the same stuff that wound up on the Congress's desk shortly before we deployed over to Iraq. Kind of ironic. Fort Detrick's on the east coast, northeast coast of America, was where it was developed, and the doctor or scientist who developed it, he was somehow accidentally died. He was murdered. And since then, though, when we were deployed, I received 3 out of the 6 vaccines. While I was deployed, I was supposed to receive the rest of them before war. Keep in mind, they also gave me smallpox and anthrax on the same day, and typhoid, yellow fever. Basically, I received 11 shots like in one day. And I've never been as sick or seen other Marines as sick as that, or anyone else in this world as sick as that. And we were put in quarantine. It was like Night of the Living Dead. The zombies, we were zombies for about a week. We could not keep any liquids in our body. And then what happened was 1 out of every 100 Marines were dying, so they had to stop giving the vaccine, the biothrax vaccine. And then so, you know, the people that developed it continued to alter it and try and improve it so it worked and functioned, but you can't do that because it just wound up being put back on and then taken off and reformed. They tried to modify it again, and it didn't work. And then I saw once there was a clipping in Los Angeles Times in the newspaper for women in vitro to see the testing experiments and the results of women in vitro with biothrax vaccine, and they were looking for 500 women. And they were looking for women to do this, and I don't know if it was 100 women for $500 each or 500 women for $500 each, but it was a low pay thing, and they wanted to find women pregnant to give them this to see how the effects would work. And that also was revised. It was revised in 2007, 2014, I think even 2011. You know, you gotta like read, you have to do your research, and all this stuff, the truth is always out there. You know, that's why things exist, because even if it's dark, as long as it has truth in it, it's going to be there right in front of you. You know, that's also a form of witchcraft, like, which direction? How are you crafting the reality? Or which craft are you using? What vessel? You know? Um, but yeah, I had a life expectancy diagnosed in 2005, 2006. In 2006, I had a life expectancy of 6 to 10 years left to live. This was diagnosed, or this diagnosis was provided by Dr. Leslie Arwin from the Ann Arbor VA in Michigan. In 2006, after I went to the Gulf War Registry, she told me that I had holes in my lungs from all the inhalation of the phosphorus fumes. I was going to develop lung cancer, most likely. That I had other problems. And she didn't tell me uranium, but she said my blood was poisoned, my body's been poisoned and contaminated. She started crying, and she told me I'm so sorry, but she couldn't tell me anything more. Well, after that, I tried to collect all the record and data from the VA, and I couldn't have it. It was not allowed for me to have. It went straight to the Department of Defense for their war game information, status report. Unfortunately, I did not receive the compensation I needed, and it took me 10 years, from 2005 to 2015, fighting the Veterans Administration to finally get a proper disability rating. And now I'm even over. There's more things I can claim, but it doesn't give me any money. I don't have enough money to support myself. $3,000 is not enough for a person in America, especially if I wanted a wife and kids and family, which I can't have because the situation I'm in, So I swore an oath to God, country, and core, my life for your peace and comfort in your country, and even the other countries, since, the Marine Corps is the 911 of the world. We're the greatest fighting force, and we'll respond to it. Unfortunately, now our military is not run such as it used to be. It's bought and it's funded to do things for larger corporations that can afford to pay everyone's paycheck, because who's going to afford the military to go do what they do? Only the people who owns all the resources. The oils, the oil fields, the planes, the trains, you name it. So now it's 2019, and I'm 4 years past my life expectancy, and I've been in the Amazon jungle for 7 years now, and I have not stopped, and I will not stop, because I'm here to help you. I'm here to help every veteran. I'm here to help every other refugee or even civilian in any country. Trauma is trauma, and you don't have to live in that fear anymore. You don't have to be a victim. It's easy to take the stand, but sometimes you just need someone to help you up. And I was able to get up myself, and I'd like to send an invitation for you to come and see for yourself and consider a possible solution for your own curing. You can find me at transitionthewarrior.com. It's a 501c3 I've started. It's helping the warrior transition back to society peacefully. There you can find more info about how you can either come to this place or the other locations that I work with and people I work with. Here at the sanctuary, it's a hospital, and I work as a medico in the plant medicine, which is a doctor. I've been training for 7 years now. and allowed me to really connect to myself, understand who I was and where I was broken in my own heart. And allowing myself to open up with that freedom and release that brokenness, then I was able to connect to the earth easier. I could hear the birds, I could feel the plants, I could hear the bugs flying by. And usually, like with the flies, you'd hear, "Can I help you? Can 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 I help you?" And I was like thinking, like, these bugs are talking to me. Can I help you? That's what they're saying. And all they want to do is just eat, the bad stuff and help you, decompose, go back to the earth, so then you can be food for the plants, or, you know, just return to the earth, I guess. Or go back into spirit. Your flesh goes to the earth, your spirit is released. And Numa Numa was one of the biggest lessons I learned being here in the Amazon Dieta. And it's important to follow the strict rules, because there are huge consequences. And this is what I mean by following the dieta and following the rules. It's important. There are consequences for everything. Consequences, good and bad consequences. So with Numa Numa, with your heart, I can just say it gets to the deepest part, and you can release and let go and be free.